Hey,
We're
Robin.
the Inwits, Jack.
And
Yeah,
we're now
Rob,
the,
Dylan.
you'd think after
I
many
know.
seasons we'd have this really clean and crisp intro, but we do not. Anyway, we're sorry we're a day late with our upload.
Yeah.
We've had slight technical issues. This time, not my technical issues. Usually it's mine.
Yeah, exactly mine.
It's yours this time. But we're back and now we're ready. I'm going to be rusty. You're going to be fresh.
Sort of.
What a finale.
Yes, what a finale.
Yeah. From, what is it? A tale of two worlds, two cities? Tale of two cities?
Tale of two cities.
Yeah. God, I've never been on such a high in a finale to get the biggest low of my life.
I'm actually in the same spot. When it was happening, I was like, wow, yes.
This is amazing.
This is great. This is great. But after it happened, I was like, hang on.
This is the worst
end.
From potentially the greatest end to the worst.
To the worst.
Polar opposites.
Yeah.
I don't know people's election votes, but I feel the same way today.
Look, I don't know if there's really much to talk about as far as the episode goes. I mean, look, really what saved Chris was Callie spilling the beans on Lauren's idol.
Yeah, well, look, there is lots, obviously it's Eric, so there's not much to talk about anyway, but firstly, obviously Chris gets back in.
And Rick, I like Rick. Rick rocks up to him and goes, what'd you get?
Yeah.
And then Rick says, because I got the same thing.
Yeah.
Letting him know, look, I know what you got. There's no point in hiding.
Look, Chris's play, because Chris, ultimately, if you haven't watched it, here's a spoiler, Chris takes out the million, if you haven't watched it. Sorry that didn't give you not much warning before. Here's the spoiler. Chris wins. Here's the spoiler. Turn off now. Chris wins. I should have done that, but I didn't.
No, you should.
I didn't.
No.
Anyway.
Look, everybody knows that now.
How does someone, but he played, look, the card he was dealt, he played well.
Well, no, let's put it in this way. Let's put it this way. This is how he played, right? Callie told him that Lauren had an idol.
Yeah.
So he convinced Lauren to play it for him. Right. No,
Lauren.
great.
But.
No, wait. Now this is my point. If Callie hadn't given him that information, what did he have?
He had nothing.
He had nothing.
Yeah, he had his idol and who he could.
No, he had his half idol.
Half idol.
At that stage. Okay. He did trust in Rick, which was quite sensible in the end.
Yeah.
Even though I think Rick made a horrible mistake. Yeah. Right. Anyway.
Well, again, this comes down to the most important strategical decisions.
Yeah. Rick
Devons always was on the wrong side.
Absolutely.
Everything else,
game is just terrible.
Well, it's not. One part of his strategic game is terrible. A lot
but
of
it's
other
a
parts.
big part of it.
Oh yeah, knowing where the votes are going is a massive part.
Right.
Being able to play that card is a massive part, and that was his. It's a really frustrating finale to talk about.
It is. It's incredibly frustrating.
It's really frustrating because you get, in my opinion, the three least deserving players ever to make a final three.
I'm not sure about ever, but
there is not a single one. There is not a person to win.
Well, no, wait. There is a. I don't say the three most undeserving, but two of them were undeserving. One of them I thought was still okay to get them in. Right? Gavin.
Just okay, but I feel Lauren was slightly better than Gavin.
No, but Lauren didn't make it. Lauren had to make it. Okay, right. But all I'm just saying, I mean, we can get to this.
But in a standard season of Survivor, let's say.
I
think Gavin would have been a GOAT with two stronger players.
Oh, I don't think so. Not they all. We've seen this season. We've seen in previous seasons where the strongest players get knocked out before final five.
Yeah.
And out of the ones that are left, you've got to pick someone. And the strongest player left was Gavin, as far as I'm concerned, right?
Yeah, but he wasn't a very strong player, but he was.
It wasn't like he had,
He had no resume. He
did have the resume to survive, and
so did the other two.
But Rick made a really good point for him which he didn't make himself.
Yes,
right?
Great point. No one voted for him ever.
Rick was like, everybody here, stick your hand up who never got a vote, including the jury, and only one person put their hand up.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really strong case.
That's actually a very, very strong case that he didn't use because he didn't think
think about it, but Rick did it for him, Thank God for Rick.
Yeah, but that's the only saving grace that gave Gavin more numbers.
Well, there is another saving grace because Chris is in the mix, right? At the end.
Yeah.
Right? And this is where I fall down on Chris, right? Chris has had a pass for 8 tribals that Gavin has had to work through.
Yeah.
I don't care that
Chris-
he's on exception on bloody Extinction Island, right?
Island.
He is not going through 8 tribals. He's
Yeah.
getting a free pass through 8 tribals to come back in at 6 and then try to make something of himself. And
So
I think
for him, that's a downside on Gavin's behalf to not that.
Gavin should have punched that. Gavin
Yeah.
should have said, listen, this guy's only been here, and it's true, 4 tribals he sat in on. That's it. 4 tribals for the whole game.
Apart from everyone else that he watched on the sidelines.
Exactly. Gavin sat through them, except for the pre-merge, where Karma didn't go to tribal. Every tribal down from merge and made it through. Now, I think that's a bigger claim than Chris winning a Joker's wild thing and coming back in.
Coming in on a wild card, and not to discredit Chris.
No.
Not to discredit that. He played his wild card very strongly.
Yeah.
He got Lauren to foolishly play an idol when that idol was a guaranteed into the final 4.
Exactly.
That idol was a guarantee in, and she gave it away because Chris manipulated her to think you need a good move, and Kelly wants to see you play a good move. Brilliant way to do that. And again, the biggest bold claim of all, giving up his individual immunity, because that he had to.
No, this is the thing. This is where Chris's game falls down, and this is why I think the people who voted for him. I noticed who voted for Gavin.
Can't have fallen down. Well,
I noticed who voted for Gavin. Callie voted for Gavin. Rick voted for Gavin. Right. Yeah. People like that. They're looking at it deeper than just one big bold move.
Yes.
That's what I mean. Like this big bold move, which isn't so bold actually in the end, right?
It's not so. It's the only move he had.
Exactly. And
if he didn't do that, he's not winning $1 million.
This isn't Dom and Wendell.
Yeah.
Where they've made it all the way through the game, every tribal. Yeah. And now Dom's trying to make a decision. Does he go up against Wendell in fire?
No, exactly.
And if he had it and won, Wendell wouldn't have won the $1 million.
Exactly.
He would have won the $1 million. Because he didn't do that, Wendell won the $1 million.
Yeah.
That's a bold move. This isn't. Chris is like,
I
got nothing.
Option. Yeah, this is my only option. If I don't do this, I could sit there at the end, but what can I say?
Exactly.
I made someone play an idol and I won one immunity challenge.
Exactly.
Like, I have nothing. That's a Hail Mary play that pulled off big time.
And I'm really sad they voted for it.
Look, this is the whole thing. It's like, the build up to this was phenomenal.
Oh, absolutely. Look,
I mean,
if Rick could have made fire.
But this is what this is what frustrates me so much, because Rick, last week we discussed, maybe even the week before, Rick is guaranteed. He's just shooing for the end. He should be learning to make fire now.
Right?
Like, he should be doing that, and he didn't.
He didn't.
That's
just silly.
He knew he was a final. He knew he was a shoo-in. He had to have known. Well, he wasn't a shoo-in, but he had to have known the odds were in his favour to get to 4.
Yeah.
He had strong odds to get to 4. He had an idol. He had more. He kept finding idols, and that, like, even if he didn't find that last idol to get into 4, that last one that you can only play on 5, even if he didn't find that, he had the chance of winning. That was one tribal, where in the last 3, one tribal he was not guaranteed to win.
Yeah.
Because he got the necklace, still had the idol. Sweet. So I'm guaranteed here. I'm guaranteed here. There's one that I'm not guaranteed. That's still pretty good odds to know that you're on the bottom, and you keep telling everyone you're bottom, to bloody work on fire.
Well, no, this is the thing. Rick worked hard on everything, right? He got up. He went look for idol. He false idol.
And that was one of the greatest moments I've seen.
Exactly.
To have placed, because he had it.
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
He could place 2. Just he had the paperwork.
Just backing up a slight section. Yeah. Obviously, in my Survivor audition this year, when they were talking to me, they're like, "What is the move you want to play?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "I want to play multiple fake idols."
Yeah.
Which happened this time, but it can only happen if you have one idols and have the paper
exactly
to pull it off.
Exactly. So you have to have gotten 2 or 3 idols
to be able to do it. For him to do it, get them both to find it, and get them both to play it.
Yeah.
And the beauty, like, that was perfect.
Yeah.
Like, that was absolutely perfect. He found the idol, hit 2 idols. He knew what was coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lauren was the only one switched on, going, well, I played 1, Rick played 1.
Yeah.
There's 3 out there.
Yeah.
One of them's got to be a fake.
Exactly.
She was switched on enough to go, well, hopefully mine's not the fake, and hopefully Julia's is. And then Julia plays her fake, and Lauren's like, I got this in the bag. I'll play mine fake. If Rick just smashed that out of the park.
Of course. Of course. Like, if Rick had made fire, he was winning. There was like no. Gavin and that might as well have just like said, "I got nothing to say."
There's nothing. There was nothing anyone like Gavin. The only thing Gavin could have done was saying no one voted for me.
I think Rick made a horrible mistake playing with Chris though.
I don't think he. I think he made a horrible mistake giving an idol back.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He made that horrible mistake, and he said at the end it was an emotional decision.
Yeah.
And when he said that, you gotta look. Rick's not a dummy, right? He's not most strategically switched on.
Yeah.
But that's. I'm just when we talk about that, that's thinking about 2 moves ahead,
so
right?
He's a hard game player. He played hard, especially when his back was against the wall, where you've got nothing else to do but fight. However, he lacks strategic forethought.
If he had thought 2 moves ahead and just immediately, I don't want to mess this guy's game up again.
Yeah.
Yes, Rick, you do want to mess his game up because he's your biggest threat.
Yeah, you don't want to mess this guy's game up because of 1 vote. You've got every other vote.
Exactly.
You don't need a landslide. You've got every other vote.
But my point is this. Have a look at who you're up against. I'm up against Gavin and Julie and Chris. Who's my biggest threat here? It's Chris. It's not Gavin and Julie, right? Get rid of Chris. Don't give him the idol. He's home.
Yeah.
See you later. You win the $1 million.
Exactly. Like if you're worried, because you got to then think about that final challenge.
Yeah.
Who's the biggest threat in the final challenge for me?
Exactly. And as it turned out, who was the biggest challenge?
Who won it?
Who won it? Chris.
Chris wins it.
And that completely wrecks game. As soon as Chris won that the immunity, his game was wrecked.
Well, yeah. As soon as he won that immunity, his game was reduced to I need to make fire.
Exactly.
Which, as we discussed last bloody week, he should have been doing that. Yes. Because what else? What else was he doing? You've got to. Yeah, that's the thing. Like he was prepared for this tribal. Was he not thinking that? Because to me, it was like, there's no other option. If I get through this, 100% I'm making fire.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
There's like, I've got to be lucky to win. You've got to be lucky to win the individual immunity.
Yeah.
Unless you're a Joe or an Aussie.
Well, no, I mean, Chris
beat Joe back into the game. One of the biggest.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Survivors ever seen.
And the other thing was, Rick's no slouch himself. Yeah. And he beat Rick.
Of course.
Right?
Of course. But at the end of the day, it's like, relying on your game to win individual immunity is luck.
Oh,
that's a lucky place to go. Look,
you can't count on it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you can't bank. You can't put that in the bank yet because there's so many variables. People just sometimes have a really awesome day.
Exactly.
People just,
Julie might have just all of a sudden known, this puzzle, boom, boom, boom,
yeah,
done.
It's like, okay, cool. Okay. My balance is actually amazing. I've done 15 years of yoga. I'm sorted. Because that was a really interesting take on a challenge we have seen prior.
And the good thing, it was very mixed up.
Yeah.
It was really variable. It wasn't just like stand on a rock and hold on to the rock.
The joy about that is I just like the tweak they did. That wasn't just the balance beam going back and forth. It was the rock to the balance beam. And on top of the rock to the balance beam, because that rocked, this also pivoted. So I'm like, there was really awesome thing to that. But you can't bank on winning that. So why was he not doing fire?
The interesting part here is Gavin, talks to Chris, right? And Chris is like, do you guarantee that if whatever the deal was, he said, I'm going to play the idol for you, or whatever it was, right? I go to 4. Gavin's like, yes, I guarantee you'll come to, I'll pick you and we'll go to 2, right? And then Gavin walks away and goes, well, if he plays it for me, that's great, but I'm not going to be taking him to 2 with me, and that's the way you got to think.
That's the way you got to play.
And Rick didn't, that's where he fell down in the end. All he had to do was make that one more move of like, sorry, mate, you're not getting your idol back.
Yeah.
He's got the $1 million.
Yeah.
He's got it. That's his $1 million decision.
It's like, this is too much power.
Yeah.
However, it was brilliant. It was brilliant to see 5 idols played.
I don't like it.
You didn't like that?
No.
I loved it.
You cannot just hand somebody an idol at 5.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well,
that was just way over the top.
Rick did that. Rick didn't have to hand an idol.
No, but what I'm saying is the producers gave Chris an idol to come back into the game at 6, effectively, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you do have to make a choice about giving it to somewhere else, it's not going to work, right? Yeah. So there's that caveat. But it doesn't matter, because that acts, if you get through that, it becomes an idol at 5.
It's a guarantee.
It's a guarantee to 4.
And on top of that, this goes back to the thing, it's like, he hasn't had to work
exactly.
for it. He got given basically a trip to Final 4, and in the end, ultimately $1 million by getting voted out weeks and weeks ago.
At the 3rd Tribal Council.
Yeah, like that's the most frustrating thing, to have a winner who doesn't technically deserve to be a
No.
winner.
Well,
He was voted out and hasn't earned his way. Rick was voted out, but Rick came back in and he came back in at merge and earned his spot.
Absolutely.
Really well.
Rick's name was on the block for the first 2 votes. His name's been on the block for the last 6.
As they should, because it's like, we've already voted this person out.
Right.
But
Chris.
to come back in at back in at 6 and be given an idol that
there's only one
to get
tribal.
you guaranteed final 4.
There's only one tribal between him and Reem.
Yeah.
Reem was the first person voted out.
No, was Chris before Eric? No,
but he was after Keith.
Okay, yeah.
It was Reem, Keith, and then Chris.
Okay.
Right? But all I'm saying is there's one tribal between them, and she was the first out.
Yeah.
This is insane. So we're talking day 8, day 9. Chris has gone out of the game. 30 days later.
And I don't mind what they tried to do with this Edge of Extinction. We've talked about what we think could have been done and how to, because it wasn't nothing. There's nothing active about it, and it's just them waiting around. But there's something massively broken to have someone come back in and take out the million. That is something that should not be possible.
I feel no better about him taking it out than if Reem had to come in and take it out. It would have been no.
I don't mind coming in earlier. Like I don't mind coming in.
Bring him in and merge.
Like because you say he had 3 tribals.
Yep.
We're saying because I can't remember, but I'm going on your stats here. He had 3 tribals. He came back in. All he had to do was navigate one tribal. Then he's guaranteed final 4.
Because he's got the idol. And he's guaranteed final 4. That's just not good enough.
Yeah, that's not fair. That is really not fair.
That's what I mean. When you look at Gavin, who's had to, and Julie, look, whatever I say about Julie, I don't think she's a very strong player, but she still navigated
her way through.
So did Gavin.
Whether you navigate as a goat or not, you still got to the end. Chris did not get to the end. He got given a free passage. Yeah. And it's really frustrating to have him win.
What's interesting here is I've thought about this myself and I thought, well, what if Callie had made it in? Or for you, what if Joe had made it in?
But I think we discussed that last week and I just couldn't see anyone beating Rick. No matter how much I love Joe, no matter how much I love a
But would I be as unhappy? And I think I would because it's once you're out, you're out.
I'd be well, yeah, but so was Rick. Rick was already out. But I'm still frustrated. I'd still be frustrated. I would have loved to see Joe win, of course. But I'd still be frustrated in how they get the win.
How's this? People can say to Chris now, oh, you've won Survivor, yeah? Yeah, I've played Survivor and I've won, right? Have you ever made merge?
How does that even work?
Exactly.
Like, how does that
He can't say he's ever made merge. How the hell can you go to Survivor and play it and then go, I didn't make merge, but I won $1 million. That's just insane.
Unless you're doing some sort of awesome Aussie-style Redemption Island where you are battling your way to stay.
Yeah, exactly.
That you're fighting each night, but you get voted out. You just sit on an island.
Listen,
you sit on an island.
That's what if they did Extinction Island to merge, and then one person gets back in, okay, I can live with that, right? And they had to fight for that. Rick fought for that, right? But from then they've just sat in their backsides on that island. Okay, sure, it's not it's not pleasant. It's not home away from home. But so what? They're not fighting for their spots on that island.
It's like that's the thing. It's like they keep saying, well, Extinction Island is hard.
Yeah.
Well, we get surviving with very minimal food is hard. We get that.
We get that.
But the end of the day is you can't go anywhere other than home if you want to.
Exactly.
If you want to, there's no risk. There's no
risk.
So there should be an element on extinction
Absolutely.
that allows for people to be getting extinct over the course. Because let's face it, that was far too big a jury.
Oh, way too big.
That was the whole tribe bar 2 people.
Exactly.
The whole cast bar 2 people.
Right?
That's shit.
That is, right?
Way too many people to decide $1 million.
And I think some of the people who voted for Chris in the end
shouldn't have been hanging out with him.
Yeah, shouldn't have been voting, right?
Yeah.
So I think they need to rethink this Extinction Island.
It's got potential, but it's got way too many flaws, and it just was highlighted.
When I think back to Pearl Island, where they brought the
mutiny, the exiled people,
people back as one tribe, and they had to compete against the other 2 tribes,
and one of them went on to win.
He did, but the thing is, that tribe wasn't competing for them to get back in. They're competing to vote on 2 people to go back in.
Yeah. And the two people that got back in got pretty deep, and one got to the end. Did she win?
No,
she didn't. But she got to the final two.
Yeah, final two, and it was the biggest travesty.
Like, why? That's too like.
But at least she had to fight. Yeah, but she had to fight. They had to fight for merge.
Oh yeah, that's it. That was They came back in at a good enough time.
Right?
Her getting to final two was not because of that. It's because like she shouldn't have been there.
Exactly.
She definitely shouldn't have been there.
No. But this is what I mean. Extinction should have stopped at merge. They should have had some big thing and then let it go from there. Having people come back in at 6 is just, and giving them an idol. Like, it's a passage to 4. That's what I can't get over.
Yeah, it's one tribal you have to navigate. That's not fair. It's not fair on Gavin and Julie, who navigated every tribal pretty much.
Exactly.
Like the whole,
right.
Except the ones they didn't go to. When you're sitting there, just Chris's navigation was, do I pull the white flag or not? It's really frustrating. So,
it is.
Because I was like, again, Rick should never have given that half of the idol back. However, it was such a. I love the fact that I saw everyone think they were safe. That was kind of fun to me.
Oh, look, what I love is, when Rick planted the idols, and then he spotted Lauren going up the tree to get me, he started laughing. He was just laughing. And he actually grabbed Chris, dragged him away, and then they pretended to come back in after she got it.
Yeah.
But he was just laughing. He was just having a good time.
Yeah. And he was having such a good time, but...
Look, Rick fell down on... Look, at the end of the day, though, Rick's got nobody to blame but himself.
Exactly, and I guess that's the frustrating thing. That's another frustrating thing for me, because we did talk about that last week, saying he's a shoo-in, he should be making his fire now. He should be working on that. Because you can't guarantee on winning that final immunity, and you can't guarantee it if you allow the strongest physical person to stay in the game as well. You've cut your chances down.
Look, he got rid of Aurora last bloody episode, right? And it was like, well, nobody else here can compete with me in a challenge. Except Chris has come back in now.
I'll let him compete.
And he just beat Joe to get back in.
Yeah.
That should have sent a warning signal to him.
But Joe was close, and this guy just beat Joe.
I would be like, he beat Joe, he's got to go.
He's got to go.
Because there's only one more immunity left.
Yeah, and in the grand scheme of things, in all Survivor contestants, cast members that there have ever been, as far as challenge beast players, there are only a very few that you can go, if that person beat that person.
Did you hear Joe's stats when he said it? I was like,
yeah,
that's unbelievable.
Joe has never been to a tribal before merge.
It's unbelievable
stat. It's insane. So it's like, if someone beats a Joe, if someone beats an Aussie, you're sitting there going, hang on a second.
That's right.
Look, as much as Joe and Aussie may have bad days, like Aussie had the bad day
it doesn't matter if they're having a bad day. Look, they might be having a bad day and I might be having a good day, but if I beat them, that's still something.
And if I beat them, I'm having a massively awesomely good day. Because those guys are, like, they're top echelon competitive beasts. So even a bad day for them is a good day for that person. That's a risk you need to eliminate.
Eliminate by voting, not by challenging.
And if you're not going to eliminate, why are you not being prepared for fire? Why are you preparing this? Why are you sitting there going, I should be learning
that's
this?
That's the thing, though. When he's looking at that other half of the idol before he gives it to Chris, he should be thinking to himself, what does this mean? This means if he wins immunity, I have to go and make fire.
And if you're prepared to do that, and I'm
then hand it over.
Hand it over. But if you're not thinking if he gets through, I'm making fire yet. Don't give it over.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Exactly.
If you're sitting there going, okay, giving it back secures his vote, but now runs the risk of me needing a higher risk of me needing to go to fire.
Absolutely.
I need to make fire. I need to be doing that, and he did that 3 days too late. He should have been doing that. He should have been doing that the three trials ago.
I think Devins was, to his credit, I think Devins is actually a pretty nice guy.
Right? Yeah, Devins grew on, like I said, Devins was so annoying to me at the start, but he became one of my favourite players, and a really, I can't wait to see him play again.
He's definitely a fan favourite, right? Yeah. I want him back.
Yeah, I want him back instantly.
But what I loved about Devins was he was, when he sat down to Chris, he seriously said to himself, you're taking me with you, aren't you? And Chris just looked at him and go, well, you better start learning to make fire.
Yeah.
And that's the moment when Devins really realised how much I've made it. Yeah, exactly. He's gone, because you can see the look on his face change. He's like, right? It closed up.
Yeah.
He realised he'd made a huge error giving Chris that idol.
Yeah.
A huge error.
But it makes it, it's frustrating to, it's also frustrating because it's not like, say, Australian season 2 where all the amazing people, bar Jericho, because Jericho had a resume.
Yeah.
Jericho had stuff.
And he won.
Which
was fine.
But when you've got people like Julie, no resume. Chris, his resume I can't buy because he
had one move in front of the and that's it.
And look,
one move.
I don't mind a Hail Mary, but if your game is just a Hail Mary, it doesn't deserve a million.
No, it's a Hail Mary.
That was one. It's a one-off, and that's all he had, and he played it well. I'm not taking that away from him. He played his last moments in the game very well.
Well, let's put it this way: he really didn't have any choice, right? He had to make fire, or he didn't, right? Fortunately for him, he'd been making fire on Extinction Island all this time, right? So that's good for him. It just left me flat.
It left me so flat because I was on a massive high.
I can see what they were going for.
Yeah, after Rick's double fake idol.
Exactly.
And he pulled off double fake idols.
Right.
I was losing my shit. I jumped up and my mate was over. We'd both jumped off the couch. We're clapping, we're cheering. It was mental. I loved it.
Yeah, so did I. I thought it was fantastic.
To be so disappointed and then to watch them sit there and watch Chris build the teepee, the standard pyramid.
Exactly.
And watch Devons not do anything.
He just had this kind of like semicircle of straw.
He had the coconut husk.
And he was like, and then it would light it a little bit and then he'd be like, no.
Yeah, and he'd be like, oh, I've got it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's out.
Yeah, it's out. Oh.
You build the shit around so it can catch while that's alight, because that doesn't burn very long. Like, what are you thinking?
But look,
how long have you... That's just...
Devon's decision was made with the idol. He knew it as soon as Chris turned to him and said, you've got to learn to make the fire. Right?
Yeah.
He knew it straight away then that he'd made a horrible mistake.
Right?
Just like Lauren knew she'd made a horrible mistake when she played her idol.
Oh, yeah. That was the stupid.
Because she was like, hang on, I didn't need to play it.
Yeah, I know. It was
right? As soon as that happened, she knew she'd been had.
But that's the thing. Like, you go to Lauren, I'm like, Lauren, how easily can you sit there and go, well, I need to be... It's like, I take a risk, which is, to me, the most ridiculous... I've never seen anyone take a more foolish risk.
But what
You're guaranteed Final Four. You're guaranteed.
No, but look...
And you give it up.
Yeah, no, this is my point. He's gone to her and gone, Kelly says you should make a big play and you should play it for me. I would go, Kelly thinks I should make a big play, end of thought, right? Because why the hell would she be telling me to play it for you?
Yeah, I would go, Kelly Kelly wants me to make a big play. Great. I don't give a shit what Kelly thinks. I want to get to the end. Regardless of the plays, this is the way I played my game.
That's right.
I've still got the idol.
But my point is this. Even if it's true that Kelly wanted to make a big play, right? The fact of the matter is, playing it for Chris is not a big play.
No, it's foolish.
It's foolish is what it is. It's a stupid play.
Yeah, a big play is playing the idol
getting rid of someone you want to get. Yeah, exactly.
A big play is that. Playing the idol at 5 and guaranteeing your way in.
In the 4.
Because you've been able to hold onto that idol and navigate your way without needing to play it.
That's right.
You've played it perfectly defensive. And it didn't... you and I are both a big agree. We agreed heavily on idols are offensive plays.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't need to, though.
Exactly.
If you don't need to, and she didn't need to.
If you look, this is the thing. I'm all for offensive plays, right? But I'm like, when I'm looking for that, I'm looking for somebody like Rick, like Tony.
Yeah.
Right. They're going to play it, then they're going to get it again.
Yeah, right? You're looking like Rick's last 3 tribals the last 3 weeks we got to watch was Rick on the massive offense. Idol,
right?
Massive offense.
Not me, somebody else. Right? Yeah. Pick someone, I don't care which one.
But if your social game players put you in a position where you're not actually a threat, like a Gavin or a Lauren, you don't need to play.
No. Look, but this is the thing. What could she have done at 5 with that idol that was going to guarantee her the $1 million? Nothing much.
Other than get a chance to speak.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like,
and when you look around,
if I play this, I make it to 4. That's all I really need.
That's all I need.
From day 1, that's all I've needed to do.
Yeah.
So at this stage, if I haven't been making moves all the way through the game, at that point, you just play the idol and get in there and hope you can speak well.
It's not that you didn't. You were still in a. You still had some power. You had a big, solid, powerful play, powerful alliance at the start.
Exactly.
You navigated out of that socially. I
Well,
still
she managed to
think
successfully swap.
Yeah, Lauren getting to final. If it was Lauren, Gavin, Julie, final three, hypothetically, Lauren was the winner. Lauren,
Lauren could legitimately say, "Look, I was part of a power threesome, but then Kelly went and then Wardog went.
Yeah, I'm the
both
only
in
one.
back-to-back votes. I was the only one of that three left, but I successfully managed to.
My social game is my strongest point.
Yeah, got me back into the game,
and
that's a good little resume.
Yeah, she had it like, and she had to think. What I guess that's what she didn't think is like, well, no one's going to beat Rick's resume. We can't. That's not physically possible. If Rick gets to the end,
exactly,
he's a shoo-in. If Rick doesn't get to the end, what's Julia's resume? Oh, she forgot to bring it. Gavin's resume is like he's gone for his first job, and Chris shouldn't be there. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's like she wasn't in a bad position.
No, she wasn't. And the other thing is, if she hadn't have played then when she needed to, right? She could have actually sent Julie home.
Yeah.
At 5, and it would have been her, Chris, Devons, and Gavin, right? Who's going to go to 5? Well, it depends on who. Then it changes.
Yeah, obviously, so many dynamics change, but I don't know why she was like. I guess the thing is, you also got to be aware of other people. If you're sitting there going, "Oh, I don't have a resume," well, what has everyone else got around you? Because they don't have a resume either.
Well, the other thing is, I think
Rick was the only one, and you're not going to beat Rick's record. You can't. You have to get Rick out. You've purposely made Rick so amazing.
Exactly.
You don't have an option.
That's right. So no, look, I think Lauren made a foolish move. She shouldn't. Why she listened to him, I've got no idea. Because to me, it was patently obvious that he just wanted the idol play for himself.
Yeah, to me, it's obvious that someone has to navigate a single tribal. Yeah. And they're the clear vote out.
Exactly.
Next to Rick, because Rick was still priority number one. But I know Rick's safe.
But they knew Rick had the idol for that vote, so they knew who they wanted.
Yeah, and it's a clear play by Chris. Yeah. Like, obviously the only play he had, but it's very obvious him going, "You got to play it for me to show."
Exactly.
Because what is he doing? He needs to survive one vote.
So it's really insane.
It is frustrating. But yeah, because I was on cloud 9 during this finale.
Yes.
I'm like, here we go. Obviously, Joe didn't make it in. I was a little bit devastated.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it was a little devo that Chris came back in, because I didn't really have much of attachment to Chris. And then we started building, and then the idol plays and the tribals were really good, and then that last one at 5 where Rick pulls off a double fake idol was just fantastic. I'm like, this is it. Give him the $1 million. It's game over.
Yeah.
I have not seen a landslide victory like this in so long.
Exactly.
And then to be left with the 3 people we're left with is just the hardest part.
And honestly, for Chris to win, it's just disappointing.
It's a slap in the face.
It is. Look, it's
good on Chris.
This is the thing.
Enjoy the $1 million. I'm not, and that's not a problem.
No, but it is, because those people survived 8 more tribal councils than he did. That's a long time in Survivor. Yeah. That's like 24 days, whatever it was, 26 days. That's a lot of navigating. That's a lot of talking to people. It's a lot of manoeuvring, and he didn't do any of that.
The only thing that could be worth something if they ever bring this format again, which I'm unsure if they will.
I hope they don't.
The only thing that can kind of assist that would be as we've been saying, if when you're on Extinction, you're always fighting to stay in the game. So it's like musical chairs.
Yeah.
You know,
each week there's one less spot.
One less spot to go.
They're going permanently on the jury.
Yeah.
That's it. And you got to navigate your way through that, because otherwise it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's a free pass.
And that then you could be like, well, I've been on Extinction for 28 days, and on Extinction I had to fight for my life.
Exactly.
You know, everyone else has gone or on the jury because I was able to find everything.
And the good thing is then
Extinction.
The people on the jury know that you fought your way through Extinction.
And then you have something.
Exactly.
But to just sit on the beach and just do nothing.
I won Survivor, but I didn't make merge.
Yeah, it's like
just
I won Survivor. I had a kind of pretty average holiday on an island without any of the luxuries.
I didn't have to go to most of the tribals.
Yeah.
But I won the $1 million.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
You know, tribal is where your gameplay is tested.
Mm-hmm.
The game is played all the time, right? But it's at tribal where your gameplay is tested.
And you can't get
his wasn't.
Well, in a snapshot it was. He played those tribals well. But that's not enough. It's not enough. It's like coming... Exactly. What it is basically someone coming in playing one amazing move, thinking
Exactly.
that, and we're saying maybe 2 tribals into merge.
Yeah.
You come in, you do a massive blindside, you play this game, and you're like, I'm the best at this game.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm on top. The next week, you're
There's
gone.
never been a player like me ever.
Yeah,
You
the
know?
next week you're out.
Yeah.
That's what would have happened.
Exactly.
In a regular, like obviously
Well,
it's different
yeah.
circumstance, but if that play had to happen 4 tribals prior, 6
Would he have
tribals
survived?
prior, he would have become such a target. He'd be voted out.
Yeah.
He'd be thinking he's the best player,
Yeah.
and he'd be voted out.
That's right.
To have one good tribal,
And this is the thing, it's such a critical tribal too.
yeah,
You know,
because
right
that's the
at the
thing.
end there.
Because that's the thing. The only good tribal he has was he only had one good tribal,
Exactly.
which was Lauren.
Yeah.
Navigating Lauren,
That's right.
making fire is what you should be able to do on the. That's not.
You should be able to do it anyway. That's right.
Yes, the Hail Mary of giving up and sacrificing and putting yourself on the chopping block. Sure, that's his move, but it's not a tribal you navigated.
But this is the thing, and this is what takes away from it. He had to do it.
Yeah, he had to.
It wasn't a
It's
choice.
not
Like
a
I
Dom
said,
Wendell. Dom and Wendell. He didn't have to, but if he did, he would have
now
sacrificed.
that's what I mean.
it.
If Dom had sat there and gone, I'm going to go up against Wendell in fire, that would have been awesome because Dom's gone all the way through the game.
Yeah.
With Wendell.
And he didn't. That was not. Yeah, he didn't need to
Exactly.
because he still had a very strong case for himself.
Exactly. And
Chris,
that's just somebody saying, no, I'm going to win.
Yeah.
And you just applaud that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
This is the guy coming in going, I got nothing when I
Yeah.
go to the jury except for this.
Yeah. This is all I can do.
This is all I can do.
Yeah.
He had no choice about doing it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yep.
I don't know. It's frustrating. It frustrates me.
I want to see it just left the if they bring it back ever pre-merge.
I don't. Like I said, I don't mind post merge as long as there is eliminations. You know, there's musical chairs. Okay, everyone comes back. All right, and now we're playing for jury seats.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you get eliminated pre-merge, you can sit down and wait. Post-merge, anyone new coming post-merge means someone else is pissing off.
Well, actually,
until you're at the end, and then you've got your final 8 for.
This is the thing I would have preferred to have seen as well. You know, all the pre-merge players, right? You have your competition as who gets back in. Then you say to the pre-merge players, "Thank you for your time. Goodbye." And then if you're going to have Extinction Island submerge, you then start with people who have made merge.
Made merge. Yep, that's another way to do it. I just still would like to have an element of activity on Extinction.
I just think somebody who survived a whole 2 first tribals, and then the last 2 is just not worthy of winning.
Yeah, it's a frustrating.
Very frustrating.
Like there's obviously tweaks to the format, but yeah. Reunion.
Next. Oh yeah, reunion. Look. Jeff, they keep it quite short now because Jeff will actually summarise people's position.
Yeah, you did this.
Hey, you did this, and you did this, and you did this. But he'll talk to the ones that he wants to talk to.
Yeah,
you know.
There wasn't much at all again.
No.
It's like, it's so hard. Like,
really, it was just Rick.
Yeah.
Rick, like, I think the highlight of the thing was Chair giving Rick $100,000.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, see ya, grand prize.
Yeah, exactly. And I liked, in the program when, when Jeff gave Rick the opportunity to perhaps ask for a better job.
Yeah, of course.
That was good. Right?
But
there's no doubt Rick's
has become this mess.
I know, it's just I think they should eliminate altogether at this stage.
Yeah, so do I. Like, now that you mention it, like, I love Survivor Reunion.
I love it,
always loved it.
But when they went and asked everybody stuff, now it's just like, okay, see ya.
Cool. It's a 15-minute. It's a 15-minute recap. But back in the day, it was like, here's our most hated person.
Exactly.
Our most loved person.
That's right.
Remember when this happened. Remember when this.
That's
How
right.
are you two
That's
now
right.
after that
Exactly.
blindside?
Right.
Blah, blah. Now we got the fan
That's
favourite. Now this. There was life to it. But now it's like, just come in and be like, well, that's the winner. Next season.
And then they do their, 5-10 minutes of
But it's just a 15-minute summary. It makes me sad.
It does. Makes me sad.
Like,
too.
obviously I love it, but it's not what
No, I want to hear from them about what that's what they used to do in the reunions, was actually go over the thing and say, well, how did you feel? Did you get over the fact that they flipped on you?
Yeah.
Do you talk now? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was great.
But it's a bit of sad. But now, Island of the Idols.
I don't know how this is going to work. It sounds like you actually have to pay something to go and visit Rob and Sandra.
Yeah, you have to sacrifice
You have to sacrifice something, it sounds like, which is good. I don't want it just to be, I can walk over and see Rob every 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Or Sandra. I like Sandra. Sandra's straight up like normal. If you listen to us, you will win $1 million.
Yeah, if you listen to us, you'll have everything you need because we know exactly what's needed.
Exactly, and why wouldn't they?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, Sandra's won twice, and the only reason she didn't win a third time is because she's won twice.
Exactly,
like,
that's right.
If she hadn't won twice, if she was only a single time winner, I don't have much doubt in my mind that Sandra probably could have easily navigated through. When when you're with a bunch of people who have all won.
That's right.
Or it wasn't all winners, but when you're with a bunch of returnees.
No, it wasn't all. Yeah, returnees. It was game changers.
Game changers.
No, not game changers. Second game changers.
Yeah, it was game changers. So and she changed. Yeah. When you're a bunch of people who are big players and you're the only one who there were other winners.
I still remember what she did to JT. You know, JT was sitting there with an idol. He's wonderful.
Yeah.
And she had him convinced he was fine. Yeah. He was safe.
Yeah.
See you, JT.
Yeah. She's very, very good. And if she didn't have 2 wins already backed up, she would have been a high bet to get through the end.
Oh yeah.
But she's not going to. How do you ever keep Sandra in a game now?
Well, that's the thing, right? And that's why you do returnee things. Is you say, well, they've got experience that the other people don't.
And then Boston Rob on the other end, he's only won once, but he's got to the end twice.
Nice. Yeah.
And he's played 4 times.
Yeah.
In 4 times to navigate to the end in his second.
And he's done the Amazing Race, was it twice?
Twice Amazing Race, but to navigate to the end second and on his 4th to win.
Yeah.
He's pretty.
That's tough. That's
a really strong. It's strong. It's like another one in the same. Parvati, she's won, and then her second. Or she didn't win the first one. Won her second round. Her third round, she came runner up to Sandra. Yeah. So there's not many people that are that experienced that could just do anything.
That's right. I'm sure in the next season we'll hear. Queen stays queen.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the queen. It's like, you get a Cochrane in, and Cochrane's played twice, won once.
Yeah. That's actually one of the interesting things from the reunion. Cochrane and Dave are riding together.
They're riding together.
I was like, oh wow, that's really.
And it was one of the first reunions. I could have been too busy discussing how upset I was with the ending, but. One of the first reunions where I didn't see Cochrane in the audience for a while. Yeah. He's usually always in there. Maybe he's busy riding.
But no, that's what I mean. They showed a shot of him.
Oh, in the audience?
In the audience.
Yeah, because he's always there.
Yeah,
he's always there. I love it.
But he was like, but that's why I love the reunion, when they do things like that.
Yeah.
Right? That's the interesting part of the reunions for me. It's not, particularly like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is that stuff. Like, you get to
it's a little bit extraneous. It's around the game,
Yeah.
Anyway.
But I'm not sure how this is going to work out.
I don't either. Look,
I trust. I will always trust, but
maybe you'll have to give up a reward to visit them.
Yeah, you can choose fishing gear or a visit.
Exactly, something like that. Yeah. And maybe that would be good, because then you're saying, let's say, your tribe wins reward. You say, well, you can start fishing, or you can go visit Sandra.
But then when you throw that out there, okay, let's hypothetically you and I.
Yeah. How does that work?
No. What do you take? I'm taking fishing gear.
I'm taking fishing gear too.
Who's going over there? Yeah. Like, most Survivor rounds, you don't get to go and talk to someone.
Exactly.
Every 37 seasons. Yeah, 37 seasons. Most people, apart from that one episode, which unfortunately the person who did win that reward was the most. The person who won was the one who probably never ever needed it, because she was never going to be able to take the advice from Cochrane anyway. Right. I mean, when you got the most delusional person out there.
Exile Beach, wasn't it? Where she went to the boat. She went to the boat. And it was Cochrane there. And it was like...
And she's like, this is going to make me win. Debbie, you were never going to win.
You were never going to win. Debbie, Cochrane... You can take Cochrane back with you to the beach. He's still not winning.
He can sit behind you the whole way and go, don't do that, Debbie. Don't do that one.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Maybe you can do that one. That's what Cochrane... And she still wouldn't win.
No, it's exactly right.
But it's like, in the whole game, it's always been... No one's needed.
No
one's needed tips. So what tips are they getting? Or are they going to get the idols? Because Island of Idols means we're surely going to be...
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what you get. Maybe you get a clue to an idol. You have to go over to the idol, and then you discover Sandra and Rob, right? And then they offer you a choice. You can go look for the idol.
Yeah. Or
we can help you.
Yeah, with something else.
With something with strategy or something, right? We can talk to you about strategy. I'll still be getting the
idol.
I'm still getting the idol.
Right? Like, I can't think of...
I'm trying to think of... The only thing I can think of is individual reward, which you get the choice. But it's still not... Like, Look, possibly, if you get the individual reward, which is you're going to get a helicopter flight around the bay, right, with 2 of the other people, or you can go and visit Sandra and Thingo. I would pick Sandra in that thing.
Yeah, but I also wouldn't need to, but it feels like it's the more strategic choice.
Yeah, but then of course you're going to have the marker on you that you went and saw Sandra and Rob.
I just don't understand. I
don't know how they're going to do this. How you get to visit.
Great that I'm happy to have them back, even after it's been a long time since Boston Rob's been on.
Oh yeah, absolutely ages. Sandra was on what 4 seasons?
Yeah, Sandra hasn't been to her. Boston Rob has been on for a long time.
That's right.
But I just try to think of what's the point? Unless you're actively giving me a free pass to talk to Boston Rob and Sandra, I kind of feel like I'm alright. I can wing it. I can work it out myself. Yeah. What the knowledge you have, yes, you've got great knowledge, but everybody's different.
Well, the other thing is, if you've watched this game, which you should have, if you're going to apply, right?
Yeah.
It's not about. All the knowledge. You can see it. You've watched it for 5 seconds. You can see the moves. You can go, okay, don't tell people about idols.
Yeah, sweet.
Try to make sure when you blindside, you don't let the cat out of the bag. Okay, you get all the basic stuff, right? But really, what you're doing in the game is applying that and getting the experience of doing it, which is completely different.
And on top of that, yes, they're very good players,
but it's not going to translate.
My game style would be very different from a Sandra's game style.
Or
a Rob's. And
Sandra's going to play as long as it's not me.
Yeah.
But there's a way of thinking to make sure that happens.
And you can play as long as it's not me. And a lot of people do play as long as it's not me. But don't play it like Sandra played it and can't win the million.
Yeah, exactly.
They end up becoming the GOAT.
Exactly.
Because you could sit there and argue anyone that Russell took to the end, because he always took one, apart from Parvati.
Yeah.
Anyone that Russell took to the end, or was going to take to the end, they could have been playing there. Well, as long as it's not me,
of course.
I'm going to hide behind the shield.
But that's right. You can't be the GOAT which gets taken along. You've got to be playing as long as it's not me, but you're not a follower.
Yeah, and Sandra does that very well.
Very well.
And also on top of that, like Boston Rob, he hasn't, he got to the end in a very early season.
Yeah, very.
So the game has changed a lot.
Yeah.
Then he played again, and he manipulated. His 4th season was a flawless game. But again, it depends on the characters. It depends. I'm surely it also depends on the
cast. His first season got voted out 8 or something.
Yeah, but his second season.
But his second season with Amber, he went to the end with Amber.
Yeah, but that's still. It was still in the early days.
There
was still no idols. There was still no idols.
That's right, then. And the other players around him were basically stupid. But anyway,
exactly.
Sorry.
But so that's still exactly. Season 10, still nothing. So the game has.
The
game's evolved, and when he came back the 3rd time, the game had evolved, and he couldn't keep up.
Yeah, exactly.
He even said that. He's like, I haven't been. There were no idols when I last played.
Exactly.
This didn't exist. I don't know this game.
Yeah.
The 4th time he comes back, he plays perfectly.
Yeah.
Plays very, very well. But he also technically doesn't have that much of a threat because he didn't do that great.
No.
His 3rd time round.
Exactly.
It's. I don't know. It's just like, what am I getting? What information am I getting from you that I haven't got from you from watching you on TV?
That's
I guess.
Exactly. But also, like I said, there's an experiential component here. Sandra and Robert, just like we said with Debbie and Cochrane, right? Yeah. They can talk to you till they're blue in the face. Yeah. If you can't put it into action, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just doesn't matter.
It's pointless.
And if it doesn't suit with your personality, you're not going to put it in action. Rob might sit there and go, you got to do this to this guy and you got to betray them.
Yeah.
But if it's not in your heart to do that, there's no point in talking to them.
And the game is so fluid,
exactly.
Which is why we love it. But if I was to do Rob's exact move, that's not saying I'm not going to be voted out because I did. Whereas I could have gone with my gut and my heart and make it to the end.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like Rob might give you advice on day 10.
Yeah.
But the tribal's on day 12. Everything has changed by day 12.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything.
It's a bizarre concept, but we'll see how it goes.
Survivor Boot Camp, he called it.
Yeah.
So I'm imagining there's some sort of sacrifice in that to this. I don't know how it's going to work though. I just hope it doesn't mess up 6 and below.
My only downside is if season 40 was going to be winners only, I'm wanting a Sandra in there. I'm wanting a Boston Rob in there.
I know, but they're not going to be there.
They're not going to do back to back. Surely not.
No.
Surely their lives won't allow them to. I would love it, but their lives and what they have to do and work wise, probably they're at a stage where that said, they're both between like Amber, Rob. They're double millionaires. Sandra, double millionaire. Like
Yeah,
they've won 2 million, so maybe they can not
I don't
work.
know.
But yeah.
No, but I think the problem is I don't think the programmers would schedule them again. See, if they're in season 39, like they're going to be, right?
Well, Russell's gone back to back. Joe's gone back to back.
No.
Or Joe and Malcolm. One of the two has gone back to back. They do back to backs quite often.
But what I mean is like Rob and Sandra are pretty big draw cards.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. You wouldn't blow the draw card this early, is what I'm trying to get at. I'm not saying that they can't do it. I'm saying, as a producer of the show, if I want my WoW season to be season 40, I'm not going to blow the 2 of the main draw cards on season 39.
100%.
Right?
100%.
And that's why I'm saying.
Like, I guess they could do back to back, but I just don't see them being back to back.
That's
it's
right.
And also that throws my other spanner in the works, because when we did because Australian season, we're starting to get the cast announcement for that. I kind of had a little feeling that maybe they would lock in a Sandra as a champion for the Australian champions team. Because she is.
Oh, she's absolutely champion.
Yeah, it's like more of a champion than a villain Russell. So that's out of the water. That's not going to happen for Australian season.
Are they going to bring another US over?
I don't know. I don't think so, but I'd like them to.
I'm not sure, because the problem with that is that like Russell was out first vote, not for any other reason than he was an American that had come over to play the game.
Yes, correct. However, Russell had an idol. They gifted him an idol anyway. He found an idol and he could have played it and he chose not to.
Oh, no, that's true.
And
but all I'm saying though is...
Yes, I hear that because you're American you could possibly be out, but it's not always the case. And I think a different American, I reckon a Sandra would be able to manipulate a way around it. Because we know, definitely the rest of the Champions tribe, they probably don't know very much about Sandra. They probably didn't know much about Russell. But
no, and that's my point. It's like, they didn't really know much about him except, well, he's an American and he's here. Yeah. Let's get rid of him.
Yeah, whereas I think a nicer, I think a more charming American player than a Russell. Not that Sandra's charmer. Yeah, like a Joe. I reckon a Joe would get through because they won't be going to tribal. They would be, I think a Joe like that would get through.
I would actually like to see somebody. I would like to see Sarah. Somebody who's all nice and yes and that, right? But underneath there's a real strategic mind at play. Yeah. And if they leave her stay, that's their problem. Yeah. And it will be. You know? So that's what I would like to see.
Yeah. Well, I think that
No, I think choosing Russell was a bad choice. I think
100%, because Russell, but to me, I understand why they did it, shock factor and villain, because we haven't had a villain. Yeah. But you can't make him a champion because he has no claim to be a champion. And coming runner-up twice, and his reputation
precedes him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, this guy's a villain. Yeah, he has to go.
Yeah, you know? So I understand what they went for, but pick a champion of the game.
That's what I was going to say. Look, I think I understand what they were trying to achieve with Extinction Island, but it didn't really work out. They wanted a rags to riches story, which they got, but I don't think it's a great way to end the season. Yeah. That's my last note on Extinction Island. Yeah. Because, Chris came in, the rags to riches story, they got it.
Of course.
And that's what I think that's what Extinction Island is about. Yeah. Getting a rags to riches.
Yeah, but I would have rathered a Rick to riches.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I mean, that would have been a far more enjoyable.
This is the biggest thing. I regretted not being able to hear Rick speak at the final trial because I think it would have been a hoot. Yeah. It would have been a hoot. Here's Rick Devons, and I'm with I'm here at the final tribal news.
That's the thing. It's like from math. Yeah, I'm going to get back into it again.
Yeah, exactly. Let's stop.
Such a high to such a low. Yeah. And that wraps us up.
Yeah, it does.
We are now on break again till the Australian season starts back up.
September-ish, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, end of August, early September. Yeah, something we'll be back for Aussie season 4.
Yeah, 4.
And I will be here because they did not cast me again, and now you will be hearing that again. Yeah. Channel 10, if you're listening, come on, throw me a bone. Throw me a bone.
Which, of course, will lead into season 39 of American.
Where we'll have that double up period.
Exactly. Okay, that's
all right. Well, thank you. Hope you enjoyed the season. Hope you enjoyed watching us, and we'll see you next time.